For 7.1, we're going to start learning about percentages. We're going to use a lot of the same strategies we just used in our last module. So percents is a number out of 100. When we have this word percent, it literally means per is out of and cent means 100. Like if you have cents, it takes 100 cents to make $1. If you have a century, that's 100 years. Out of 100. The number literally means out of 100. And we write that with a percent symbol, which we can remember, right? It's like 100. 100, the 2 zeros. It's out of 100 every time. That's going to be like a mystery number. When we know percent, we have to think 100. So we don't to remember percents are always out of 100. And we can also change fractions and decimals into percentages, or a ratio, because a ratio is a fraction. So we can change those other numbers into percentages. They all can change into one another. So we're going to do a few examples here. We're going to do 3 actually, like after this one. So if you need more room, you're always welcome to write in the future self box as well. So our first example is going to be 67 out of 100. We're going to write the ratio, the decimal, and the percent. So a ratio is a fraction. So we're going to write that 67 out of 100. 67 hundredths. Then the decimal, decimals always have to be out of 10 or 100. And we already have it out of 100. So here's my tenths and my hundredths. 67. So we need 67 hundredths. They sound exactly the same. 67 hundredths, 67 hundredths. And then the percent, we just take the ratio number, 67, and write it out of 100. You have to put that percent so we know that it's out of 100. If you don't put that percent sign, it's just 67. So these are all out of 100. They're less than a whole. 67 hundredths, 67 hundredths, 67 out of 100. You didn't get the whole test correct. You only got 67%. So let's try one that's not out of 100 to start with. So we're going to do 7 out of 20. And we want to remember to set up the ratio equal to 100. We're going to make it be 100, that mystery 100 number. So we're going to write the ratio, the decimal, and the percent. So the ratio starts as 7 out of 20. But we want to make it out of 100 to make the rest of our work easy. So how do I get from 20 to 100? We're just making those equivalent ratios again. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So that goes in there 5 times. So we're taking 20 and timesing it by 5. And we're going to do the same thing to the numerator. 7 times 5 is 35. So my new ratio, my equivalent ratio, is 35 out of 100. Now I can take that number and write the decimal. It needs 2 places, tenths, hundredths. 35 hundredths. And then the percent, we come back to our ratio, 35, but I have to put that percent sign so we know it's out of 100. 35 hundredths, 35 hundredths, 35 out of 100. They're always out of 100. So let's try one more. We're going to do 3 out of 8. Now, when I count by 8s, we can't get to 100 perfectly. So we're going to use that same proportion strategy we've learned about before. So we're going to set up our ratio, and we've got 3 out of 8. So this blue line should be what you're writing, but here, the example. And remember, if you need more room, use your future self box. And we're going to set it up out of 100. But I don't know how to perfectly get from 8 to 100. So instead, we're going to look across and we're going to multiply 3 times 100. We're going to move this 100 over here. 3 times 100, and then we'll divide by 8. So we're taking our 300. Is 100 times 3 is 300. So we're taking our 300, and then we're dividing it by 8. So I need something about the 3, the 0, and the 0. So 8 can't go into 3, but it goes into 30 3 times, which is 24. There are 6 left over, and we're bringing down our 0. 8 goes into 67 times, which is 56, 5, 6, 7, 8, 56 is 7 times 8. We have 4 left over, but we need to keep going. We're going to write it as a decimal because that's what we're trying to turn it into. So we're going to add that decimal here and another 0. We're going to bring that 0 down. 8 goes into 45 times exactly. So my new ratio is 37.5 hundredths. 37.5 out of 100. And now the decimal, when I'm moving my decimal, I'm really just taking my ratio and moving it 2 places forward. So now it's 0.375, right? 37 hundredths. But now it's 37.375 thousandths. But we just move that decimal from here 2 places forward. Now to go back to the percent, I move it back 2 places, right? 2 places because there's 2 zeros in 100. So the decimal goes forward 2 places, the percent goes back to what it was as the ratio, 37.5%. So make sure you get that percent there. So you have 37 out of 100, 37 hundredths, and another that 500 thousandths. And then we have 37.5 out of 100%. So take a minute, write down anything important, perhaps about the number 100, right? That's our secret mystery number. We've got to remember that percents are out of 100. Always make them out of 100.